So yeah, I'm David Pavlík, Chief Information Officer of kiwi.com. It's the first time I said it, so big moment for me. We actually arrived from US only a few days ago, so I'm still kind of recovering from my jet lag. But what I wanted to talk about today is, as we discussed, it's not a tech talk, but it's some sort of okay. It's actually a kind of summary of learning or my observations from the tech companies I went through, how they manage to be innovative, what these companies did differently, and was there any process behind? Did they did it on purpose or systematically, or were these companies just gifted? So what is actually innovation and how to embrace it? My learning from my 10 plus year experiences is it's actually a process. It's actually an iterative, very hard process that you need to take a one step at a time, figure new things out, learn something new, test your systems, analyze or assess your hypotheses, and with your new learning, try to move on. So my biggest learning was that it can be actually a systematic process, and there are quite a few companies that are dealing with these processes quite effectively. What was common among all the companies that were just mentioned, Amazon, SpaceX, Netflix, and many others, is they have one vision. They clearly define the vision what they are going after. For Netflix, it was unlimited streaming for $10 a month. They actually increased the price. Shareholders welcome that. But it's still this one simple vision. They are not kind of diversifying their focus into other areas. They are still focusing on this one area, and then they are trying to be the best in it. Amazon, most customer-centric company on earth, it's paying them off very well. They are skyrocketing these days, and as I will show you in a bit, they are still in the same cycle. They are analyzing the customer needs, meeting their customer needs, optimizing based on the feedback, and running this again. And SpaceX make humankind multiplanetary. It's kind of very distant vision, but if you observe SpaceX, they are doing exactly one thing at a time. Build a rocket, land the rocket, reuse the rocket, build a bigger rocket, land the rocket again, build a satellite constellation, take as much revenue from cable providers as possible, fund the path or way to moon, to the Mars, and somewhere else. So even if it can look initially like very kind of separated, it's actually those are very well orchestrated companies around this single vision. Innovation cycle. So as I mentioned, for Amazon, this is their cycle, or at least it was the cycle when I was there. So they are ever improving the selection, improving the customer experience. That's driving more traffic, bringing more sellers. They can lower the cost structure, lower the prices, and they are doing it again. This was the time when I joined. It was 2011 or 12 or something like that. And so AWS was just starting because they realized they have too much compute capacity, and they can actually make a good business out of it. But it only happened because they realized, okay, there might be a customer need, we have something to offer, and they started this iteration. And is there anybody with Amazon from this audience? Perfect. So customer. I see. So that's quite different because they are treating their customers with utmost respect. For example, when there is an issue with the customer, if you find it, your first responsibility is to solve it. Doesn't matter that you don't own the system. You are responsible for solving it, and only then you can analyze what went wrong and how to fix it. Because they want to keep running this cycle. It has to be always about the customer experience, and then only you can learn what went wrong, what we have to fix, and they are running it in all their businesses. And I'm just blindsided where did they went from when I left in 2012. I mean, if you have a look on Amazon now, it's Amazon.com, Alexa, AWS. Now they are doing the delivery to your home. They can even open the door. So there is so much stuff that's happening there. Having a look on other companies, how Netflix does innovation. Who experienced Netflix from here? I hope everybody has some experiences with Netflix. Excellent. Believe it or not, Netflix is never the same. Netflix, when I was there, it was running on about 1,500 microservices, meaning in the cloud there were like 1,500 programs that are scaling up and down, communicating via some APIs. And these microservices were all constantly being redeployed, updated. And that was one aspect of it. So you can never tell, okay, this is Netflix version 110.8. Never worked. Every team was responsible for their own innovation cycle, and they were innovating. And then Netflix as a whole, the company was able to measure the impact on how many streaming hours per week the customers are getting, and what is the downtime and stuff like that. But the innovation cycle was always there. Plus, if you also consider the constant A/B testing, if you have your Netflix account, you are always part of some set of A/B tests. So you never know if this experience is the same experience of that my neighbor has. So make sure if you want to keep the innovation, this is an excellent way how to have your innovation process in the company. Make sure that anybody in your company can run their innovation cycles, and make sure that your customers can be your best data providers to get some more insights. And you've got some tips on the metrics. Metrics is a great help. Just an interesting fact from Netflix when I was leaving 2014, they were tracking 1.5 billion data points per minute, and they triple it since. So that's how much data they are getting about their subscribers. Amazon, we talk about Amazon, but for Amazon it's always day one. They have this idea, they even have 2 buildings in Seattle called Day One North, Day One South, and the whole idea is that even if you feel like, okay, we are doing really well, we have great products, they are challenging themselves. This is not good enough for the future. What can we do better? So always challenge your status quo. I'm pretty sure that you all have some great products, great projects that you are working on, but what Amazon is telling me, and what was my observation, you can always do much better. And sometimes you just retire your product and move on something new. But make sure you have always this mindset, we are just getting started. Embracing the failure. My job at Netflix, when I joined, I was responsible for the chaos monkey and latency monkey. Super cool job. So basically from out of these 15,000 instances, you are shooting them down and observing the system using the metrics if everything is still working or not. And that was really interesting concept. So they really wanted to make sure they designed their product in a way that they can introduce the failure very easily. So if you're building your software products or software system web application, make sure you can inject the failure, because what you want to do is to always be ahead of your customer to make sure that they don't experience the failure first. It has always to be you if you want to be really successful. Innovation, culture, and people. Innovation can never happen without people with the right mindset, and culture attracts the right people. So you cannot invite people that are used to do things only a certain way to the companies like Netflix or SpaceX or Amazon, because even their culture is constantly developing. One great example on Netflix company culture is that they had these 1,500 microservices. They organized their engineering teams around those services as well, so they can have like independent units that are developing these specific services. So the innovation can also drive how your teams are organized. Share the context, super important for the leadership team. Make sure you hire the best people you can hire, and just give them the context, because you hire them to execute on your ideas. You don't need to tell them what to do. Let their creativity work, let their innovative spirit get out and do something for you. And my favorite part of the Netflix culture was always, we are a sports team, we are not a family. So always think about your team as a sports team, because I guess you don't want to have some FC Barcelona as a family, you always want to be FC Barcelona, to have the best players in the world. So these were just a few concepts. I'm trying to run through it pretty fast, but share some of these concepts, how you can introduce the innovation to your company as a systematic process, as a kind of a systematic way how you are always adding one step at a time, learning something new about your customers, learning something new about your system, and moving on. So yeah, go ahead and build the next big thing. So thanks a lot for listening.